to our channel, everybody. It's your girl, Bex.
And I'm Carly.
And we're here to deliver content to unlock your mindset and actions to be limitless. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And like we always say, ring the bell notification so you can get alerted when we're dropping videos just like this.
Absolutely. Okay, welcome back. So this week we are going to be talking about Naomi Osaka, and that is then going to lead into mental health in sport. So as we know, there's been a lot of media around Naomi lately. She recently withdrew from the French Open and has had to take a break from the sport in the past. As a multicultural, multiracial, Japanese, Haitian, American woman, Naomi represents the modern world on and off the courts. She's not just a tennis champion, but an entrepreneur, luminary and role model for young people across the globe. At 3 years old, Naomi and her family moved from Osaka to New York before settling in Florida. Naomi and her sister began practicing tennis with their father by day and homeschooling by night. It wasn't long before Naomi's grasp of the game, powerful serve and strong forehand became impossible to ignore. And definitely Naomi and Simone Biles have definitely sparked the discussion about mental health in sport.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to credit her, so she's ranked number 1, and she's the first Asian player to hold top ranking in singles, 4 times Grand Slam singles champion as well. And yeah, this whole topic it needs to be highlighted, and I think that it is good that it's being highlighted. I think it was Billie Jean King was saying about the importance of sports stars and athletes that have this platform. And she did say it is a privilege that they have this platform, that they're able to have such a massive reach. And the fact that we're seeing now a lot of athletes, just a lot of people in the limelight using their platform to speak out and help other people as well. And that the fact that, you know, a lot of young people are able to see this and they're able to ask for help without feeling ashamed. And I think that's good that they're breaking down the stigma around mental health.
100%. I listened to a really short, they just did a snippet of Ruby Tui. And I actually like what she calls it. She's Olympic gold medalist rugby sevens. They just recently won that. And she actually calls it mental fitness because for her, it's something you need to work on. But she was saying the same thing. She gets a lot of young people asking her about it. And she says, look, emotions are part of being human. It's a signal to show what we care about. And she said, it's really tough because people think, like you say, yes, they are in a privileged position. In a lot of cases, they earn a lot of money. They get a lot of sponsorships. They get a lot of things that obviously the everyday person wouldn't get. But ultimately, they're still a human being and they get judged daily. And it's not just about the looks anymore. It's also about their food and their training. Oh, they're underperforming. Oh, it's because you're too busy focusing on your business. That, you know, your tennis is like no matter which way they go, they are being judged for it. And ultimately, they did that sport because they enjoy it and love it. And they're now in this position, but it's just been thrust upon them, and now we're expecting them. It's like, that you this is the position you're in. You must now do media. You must now do this, and you should be grateful for it.
And actually, that's one of the things that Naomi was saying, is that she was calling for the fact to give athletes the right to being able to take that mental health break, right, from the media scrutiny, without being subject to strict sanctions, because I think she was fined 15k or something like that for missing those, right? And she likened it to work. And this is a great point. As individuals, we get overwhelmed, we get stressed, we have anxieties and depression and all the rest of it. But guess what? We can call into work sick. We can ask for a mental health break. But the same thing doesn't seem to apply to athletes. And like you rightly said, they trained for the love of the sport. yes, okay, you can question, well, maybe you should have done some research about what that actually entails when you get to the top and all of the rest of it. But at the same time, an individual's personality is the individual's personality.
Exactly.
For example, she said that she's naturally introverted and she pushes herself to speak up for what she believes is right. But that comes at a great cost for herself of anxiety. Do you get what I'm saying?
100%.
So it's like, she said that Michael Phelps had actually said to her, by her speaking up, she may just save a life. And she said, if that's true, then it's all worth it. But you got to remember that these people are individuals as well, going through the same struggles that everybody goes through. And she's not just speaking. I get really bad anxiety speaking to 10 people. You're speaking to world media.
Yeah, exactly. Who are now going to ask you questions indirectly criticizing your performance, asking you what's going on in your personal life, asking you X, Y, and Z. And especially if you've just lost, you do not. I know for a fact, if I lost, because I'm super competitive, I remember when I used to play football, I didn't want to shake hands with the other team even. Never mind. And don't get me wrong, obviously we did, but you don't want to. You feel like, oh, you know, especially if it's been a bit of a heated match. Yeah. And now you're pulling them off the field. They don't get a moment to go and have a breather, go and do this. It's straight off the court. Here you go, microphone in your hand. Let's go. Yeah. And it is a lot. And especially when you've got so much expectation on yourself, like she is, because how highly she ranked, you know, beating Serena Williams and all this stuff. You're like, this is the last thing I want to do right now. And I'm pretty sure I saw something that's when her anxiety sort of triggered in 2008 when she lost to Serena. When she beat Serena in the US Open, 2018. Yeah.
And that's one thing that, honestly, because obviously I heard about, you know, we spoke about Simone, and I heard about, obviously you spoke about Naomi, but I didn't really actually know the whole story of it until I researched for this video. And one thing that rocked me today when I was having a look is like you say, when she beat Serena Williams, she was the 19th ranked player in the world. There was no exuberant celebration. And when it came to her speaking, she pulled down her visor, bowed her head crying, and she told the pro Serena crowd, I'm sorry. I know everyone was cheering for her, and I'm sorry it had to end like this. And I really think that at that point, it showed her character from early. Even Serena had to tell the crowd to
stop booing.
And that pressure of everybody is against you at that moment in time, right? Yeah. And you've gone and done the unthinkable. You've gone and achieved your dream that you've had for 16, 17 years. You've achieved it. You've realized it. And then it's so negative.
Yeah, you don't feel bad.
It's actually negative. You feel bad for doing what you came to do.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it at all. And then they were like booing as well, like the lady that was, I think they're like obviously part of the tennis association stuff, and I get it, home crowd and stuff, but what has this young girl done? I appreciate favours, but you got to remember this is sport, and she honestly, especially if you saw somebody react like that, clearly emotional about it, would you not think, oh, I've gone a bit too far? No. And then they did it again later. It's horrible. I felt so bad for her, and the interview she did, and she's been sort of questioned about, hang on, you are where you are because of the media, yet you don't like the media. And the poor girl, like, honestly, it was awful. They shouldn't have allowed him to. I mean, I know she wanted to answer the question, but I wouldn't have given him the time of day.
Yeah, I mean, her agent, I think it's her agent or someone tried to move that press conference on, but she was like, nah, hold on a minute. Like, if you guys want to go there, let's go there. But obviously, at the detriment again of her health. Like,
it got to eventually.
And it's just crazy, you know. And Serena said, like, I know in one of her press conferences, she said, or interviews, she said about how like she felt like she just wanted to give Naomi a hug, and she was saying her experience of tough press conferences, like Serena's, has made her stronger, but she can empathize with Naomi because everybody is different and we all handle things differently. Do you understand? And we really need to be more mindful and I don't know, man, like even I had to look at Michael Phelps and he also spoke about his struggle with depression and his suicidal thoughts after the 2012 Olympics. And it's crazy. Like, this is one thing I say about social media and anybody that you are looking up to as a mentor, is the importance of not buying into what you just see on face value. Do you get what I'm saying? And not wishing that you're in someone's shoes, because you really, really don't know what's going on behind closed doors. You know,
anything.
Athletes are supposed to be strong. They're supposed to be able to push through, but ultimately they are hiding and putting their feelings and their struggles to entertain people. That's what it's about. They love it, but at the end of the day, it's entertaining us. But at what detriment and at what cost?
Exactly. And even Serena, though she said, you know, she's got stronger through it, and you get used to it, you learn how to cope with it. She says even she still feels the pressure, because it's the pressure to hit records, hitting numbers and whatever, because she is seen as the greatest of all time and athlete full stop, but there's still certain numbers people are expecting her to hit. And you know, she's still going for it. Like you say, Michael Phelps, luckily a friend intervened and he hit low enough to go, I need to do something about it. And then he went on to win 5 gold medals in 2016. And you would never thought, like Olympians, like you say, sports athletes are seen as so strong because it's so important to have that mental game in order to succeed. So a lot of competing is mental side of it. So to hear that, and now we're seeing more and more athletes talk about this, it is really good. And I know Naomi had a little essay in Times magazine, and she shared a couple lessons, so we'll just share those with you now.
A new essay in Time magazine, she says stepping away from the French Open helped her grow and taught her valuable lessons. She writes this, quote, "Lesson 1, you can never please everyone. The world is as divided now as I can remember it in my short 23 years. Issues that are so obvious to me at face value, like wearing a mask in a pandemic or kneeling to show support for anti-racism, are ferociously contested. I mean, wow. So when I said I needed to miss French Open press conferences to take care of myself mentally, I should have been prepared for what unfolded. I always try to push myself to speak up for what I believe to be right, but that often comes at a cost of great anxiety. I feel uncomfortable being the spokesperson or face of athlete mental health, as it's still so new to me, and I don't have all the answers. I do hope that people can relate and understand it's okay not to be okay, and it's okay to not talk about it. There are people who can help, and there's usually light at the end of any tunnel."
Yeah, so one of the things that she said is that you can never please everyone, and I think that's a great point. She said obvious issues at face value, like wearing a mask or kneeling for racism, anti-racism, is so ferociously contested, so that when she pulled out of the French Open to take care of herself mentally, she said that she should have been more prepared for the backlash of that. Do you get what I'm saying? But again, you can never please everyone. And number 2, which she said was most enriching, is that everyone either suffers from issues related to their mental health or know someone that does. And it's true. It's so, the thing is, like you said about mental fitness, right? You're one of the strongest people that I know, but that doesn't mean that you don't go through issues. Maybe you just got a better way of coping with it. Whereas I'm very, you can see when I'm going through an issue. Do you get what I'm saying? So everyone's got different coping mechanisms, and, you know, like we say, if you're going to be anything, just be kind. Yeah. That's it. Do you know what I mean?
100%. I struggle with the whole athlete mindset and the media pressure and stuff, because like you said about Michael Phelps and people like that, and they do go into depression because when it's over, they're like, well, who am I? I don't have swimming anymore, so who am I? Kelly Holmes is another one who's spoken out about it. Frank Bruno, another big name that's gone through it. But why can't they be who they want to be? So if I enjoy a sport, and I want to do it because I want to be the best, not because I want to be on telly, I want to be the best. The problem is, when I get to that level to be the best, I will naturally end up on telly. So you're basically saying to someone, well, if you don't want to deal with the pressures and whatever else, then you just don't do it. Well, no, why? If someone's talented, they should be allowed the platform to compete. You've now gone, however, since you're there, you have to do this. These are all your obligations. Says who?
you have to be a role model. You can't do this because this kid or that kid is looking up to you and all the rest of it. And it is difficult. And this is the thing, like I had this conversation literally just before we started this, and it's like, yes, I understand that you've got to understand what potentially can come with the responsibility, but like you say, on the flip side of that, but why? Because I'm just trying to be the best that I can be. I don't want to do the TV interviews.
Yeah, so I've got two sides of that. So I do think, so you do naturally become a role model, but I don't think, oh, well, I don't want to be that person, so I'm going to be a jackass. Like, I don't agree with that, because that's just, be a nice person.
Yeah,
end of story. Be a good person. But if somebody doesn't want to have to, at the end of a competition or whatever, give an interview, what? Like, I love boxing. I love Formula One. I do not go, right, the race is over. Come on, Lewis, I want to hear all about it. I couldn't care less. I don't listen to the interviews. I'll watch the race and it's over. I'll listen to what the commentators are saying, what's happened, or maybe to Toto Wolff or whatever. I don't mind if I see here or there the Lewis in, but I don't have an expectation. Like, why should they? I'm the one who wants to watch it. Fair enough. Yes. Well, they get paid and blah, blah, blah. But that's just how the industry has happened. But in no way do I look at that and go, why haven't you done an interview? What? No, that's not on. I couldn't care less. And I don't care what's going on in the media in their lives, because I'm not nosy.
And it's true, you know, because like, imagine, let's say like all like the directors in Amazon, obviously we get to speak closely with some of them. You're not expecting press conference every time something good. Do you get what I'm saying? And these guys are paid flipping loads of money as well.
Yeah.
It's just like, for athletes, for actors, for all these people that are in kind of like the public eye, the celebrity lifestyle and all the rest of it, it just seems that is like you say, an obligation.
It's obligation. If you don't do this, then sorry, you're not going to have this. And I actually got so much respect for those celebrities who actually you don't see much about in the media and their private life, because they're like, that is my private life, but the media so itch up in it. Get out of people's businesses. But the problem is with Instagram and all of that, the social media, people want to be, they want to see what are they doing, what are they, man, people, you've got more important things going on, better things to worry about than what Michael Bublé just had for breakfast. Like, come on. And
you know, one thing that I'm kind of concerned about, Sha'Carri Richardson, is it Sha'Carri Richards or Sha'Carri Richardson? So remember her from what we did before, when she smoked weed, etc. She came back and did a race after the Olympics. I can't remember what competition it was at, and she came 8th or 9th. She came last place, right? And obviously everyone's expecting that she was going to come out and do good things, but she didn't. But everyone's like on her back. Everyone's like, see? Oh, you need to be quiet, sit down, you're not this, you're not that, you can't break the record, you can't do this. And at this moment in time, she's like, listen, don't worry about me. My God has got God's timing and all the rest of it. When it's my time to shine, I'll shine, and I will continue to train hard, to do what I know that I can do, and so on and so forth. But if you look at the pressure, if you look at Twitter and see all the negativity and toxicity, I don't go near Twitter. Yeah. It is. And it's, it's from news reporters, it's just from people, it's just relentless. And you can see it kind of unfolding before your eyes. That Twitter is bad for that though. I see most negative stuff, like after the football, did come from Twitter. And someone made a really good point as well, like, especially now, we've just gone through a pandemic and we're still in it. So with 18 months, people have been locked away or not able to do this, restricted. Like, give people a flipping break, man. And then they're coming out, and now all these athletes are starting to come back, and now they're performing, and you wonder why they're injured or they're not performing or what it is. They've just been through the same crap that we all have. But can you imagine that is your livelihood? You can't go and play tennis in your back garden unless you're lucky enough to live in a big house where you own a mansion and whatever else. Some of them didn't have access. We already saw in the Olympics, some of them had to get equipment put in their gardens. All they had was a rowing machine because they couldn't go out on the water. So honestly, like you say, just be kind and just take a step back and just think about what people are doing and gone through before we're negative. Just
be nice people, honestly.
Agreed, man. Just agreed. It's just, you know, like, we'll bash on about it. We'll keep speaking about it because I think it is important. You know, some people will say, oh, you know, it's enough of this now, but actually you need to keep raising the awareness. You need to keep speaking about it. It's okay not to be okay and all of the rest of it, you know. Sometimes we're going to have our good days, we're going to have our bad days. As long as we continue to try and get up and keep going and going towards, you know, your own personal dream on your own personal timeline. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, if you need help, reach out for help.
Absolutely. And I'll just end on a couple quotes, one about Naomi and then one directly from her. So a US Today sports reporter wrote, "It's time to accept that Naomi Osaka is a human being before she's an athlete. Stepping away from the things that do not serve as an essential practice for your well-being, regardless of how mandatory society makes those things, is smart, not problematic." And then Naomi said, "I do hope that people can relate and understand it's okay to not be okay, and it's okay to talk about it. There are people who can help, and there is usually light at the end of any tunnel."
That's a great way to finish this week's episode. Thank you so much for watching and tuning in this week. I've been your girl, Bex.
And I've been Carly. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next week.
Peace.